Hello, we are the Data Wizards and we have chosen Challenge 5 for our task. We are at the Etihad Stadium over the past 2 days building our app and designing different forms and part of the project to go towards. This is the six of us. We are from different backgrounds, so there's four of us from MOU, some from Alpha Consultancy, and some from Siemens. You can check the challenge summary out there if you wish, and the outcomes are also on the next slide. Thank you very much. We needed a way for employees to submit any forms they needed. We could have had them write an email or a paragraph, but the likelihood is that essential data will be missed out with this method. And on top of this, there is a lengthy process to extract all that data onto the table each time that a risk is submitted. We could have also just given them access to the table and tell them to fill out each line themselves, but again, there's a high chance of a mistake being made within giving them the freedom to do this. The other problem is obviously unauthorized people could be changing other risks, so a bit difficult. So instead, we opted to go with building a form that had all the necessary inputs and a detailed description underneath to allow anyone entering a risk to know exactly what to add. We then linked this form directly to the table, so there would be no manual data transfer, and this reduces mistakes made, but also the time taken to add risks to the table for analysis. Playing above has been the actual form that we've created linked to the table. So as you can see, you can put in the mitigation risks, when this is likely to happen, the effects, what the risk is, a description, who you are, and basically once the form is submitted, it will then be sent to the table, but it won't be added until the project manager or risk manager actually accepts it. And so this also reduces the chance of unauthorized people adding requests. It just makes for a really smooth process, and it makes sure everything is added that is needed to.
Hi, we have chosen challenge 5 to tackle. Here, this is the register. We have removed some columns to standardize, and we also added a few more columns to secure the data import. We have also added the impact area field to categorize the business area. Also, the risk action for dictating the mitigation strategy, which depends on the type of risk based on the RMP rating. We also have changed to risk ID. It will be generated for each new risk, and it will be associated with the WBS.
Okay, now we move on to the solutions outcomes. First things first, after recreating the register spreadsheet and form, the team were able to use a free software called JotForm. Now, this software allowed for us to create the app we needed to merge and link the risk register with the risk register form. And the software also allowed for us to implement a page for when the form is submitted that allowed for the person who submitted the form to know that it has been accepted. And alongside that, the page also included two buttons or two options that allowed for the person who is submitting a risk to fill either the whole form out again or just to edit their submission. And that links us to the next stage, because the challenge also required for us to create an access approval system incorporated within the app to decide if the risk was worthy of being approved or not, or if a person without access was able to get it. So it would essentially perform both actions. Now, finally, the last step is also linked to the previous stage, for the reason that the app also allowed for us to add an email of an individual, or of within a project, it would be someone of or someone with at the level of decision making, and it allowed for us to add an email. In this case, it was my email, and this this email would be of an individual that would be overlooking all of the project risks, and also whoever has access and what they are submitting. And this was able to complete our verification and approval stage.
Hi, so as you know, we have the judges' questions for why did we select the additional data collection fields, and how would your senior decision maker use the outputs from this tool. The third one being with more development time with additional features would you add, and how would you develop a solution with more time. For the question 1, we added area impact field. This is because this helps resource allocation and assigning to find which business area gets affected the most and how many risks are associated with it. And we added the risk action. This because not every risk has to be avoided. Some of them become an opportunity to be accepted, some of them transferred or completely avoided. The risk ID. This helps the user and the manager track the risk back with the WBS code with the existing project timeline. And we set a lot of custom conditions in the following field. Action due date. A rule is set in this field to ensure due date does not cross the time frame of the risk proximity field to ensure the risk is closed before its occurrence. For the question 2, the senior decision maker has a role of granting or denying access requests to the app itself. For example, if a lower level employee does not have the authority or permission to register a risk, then they will be denied access. That senior decision maker can also make use of the access granting by only giving viewing authority to employees wanting to raise a new risk, and this will protect previous data that was already within the table. Also, when the form is submitted, it will be submitted directly to the project manager's email, and they will have the option to approve or deny the risk registration based on whether it is actually valid or not. So for the third question, we create a dashboard, provide a holistic view for the existing risk register. This includes KPI metrics, highest priority risk, recently added and closed ones, and the most business area impacted. Second, develop and integrate a risk workshop template with a set of agenda for the team members to generate, review, assess risk, and plan a mitigation strategy which correlates with their specific project goals. Third, develop and integrate 2 risk entry forms. Form A will have a limited fields suitable for individual to record a risk, which will be sent to our